The journey of the Magi. During Advent and Christmas, we have been probing new ways of seeing with the heart, spiritual seeing. Seeing with the heart can help change our perspective and change our perceptions. Changing our perceptions is essential if we are ever to know peace, hope, and joy. But changing our perception is never an easy thing to do, nor is it comfortable. For the old order of things gets turned over. The journey is difficult. T.S. Eliot wrote about this difficult journey in a poem about his conversion to Christianity, The Journey of the Magi. A cold coming we had of it, just the worst time of year. The ways deep and the weather sharp, the very dead of winter, and the camels galled, sore-footed, refractory, lying down in the melting snow. There were times we regretted the summer palaces on slopes, the terraces, the silken girls bringing sherbet, then the camel men cursing and grumbling and running away and wanting their liquor and women, and the night fires going out and the lack of shelters, and the cities hostile and the towns unfriendly, and the villages dirty and charging high prices. A hard time we had of it. At the end, we preferred traveling all night, sleeping in snatches, with the voices singing in our ears saying that this is all folly. Then at dawn, we came down to a temperate valley, wet, below the snow line, smelling of vegetation, and a running stream and a watermill beating the darkness, and 3 trees on the low sky. And an old white horse galloped away in the meadow. Then we came to a tavern with vine leaves over the lintel, 6 hands at an open door, dicing for pieces of silver, and feet kicking the empty wineskins. But there was no information, and so we continued, and arriving at evening, not a moment too soon, finding the place, it was, you may say, satisfactory. All this was a long time ago, I remember, and I would do it again. But set this down, this. Were we led all that way for birth or death? There was a birth, certainly. We had evidence and no doubt. I had seen birth and death, but had thought they were different. This birth was hard and bitter agony for us, like the death, our death. We returned to our places, these kingdoms, but no longer at ease here in the old dispensation, with an alien people clutching their gods. I should be glad of another death. T.S. Eliot, in describing the journey of the Magi, describes the struggle of the journey that we all face. Even with the dawning of day, the hope brought by Christ's birth, his resurrection, and his final coming, the 3 trees of Calvary are revealed. The 6 hands of the Roman soldiers and the silver coins of Judas' betrayal. Our journey, our discipleship, our following of Jesus reveals similar struggles suffering, death, and betrayal. As for satisfaction on the journey, the satisfaction that the Magi experienced is both the payment of the debt of sin and being left suspended between the realization and consummation of God's plan. Both the fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecies and the destruction of their roles as kings. So our discipleship reveals the same satisfaction, forgiveness, and dethronement. The birth of Christ causes a reordering of creation. Oxen and camels kneel at the manger alongside shepherds and kings. Christ has overturned the old order, but the fullness of the new order, the fullness of time, the time of promise awaits our final birth, death. Seen with our hearts does not mean seen with stars in our eyes. It means seeing reality from the perspective of Christ. Only from this perspective can we know peace, hope, and joy. But it also means that we are no longer kings and queens. We must be willing to see each other not from our past hurts and fears, not from a relationship of power and control, but see each other as companions on the same journey, the journey of the Magi.